All right, for today's video, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to call it Foreclosure Friday. And keeping with the spirit of alliteration, we're going to be looking at the state of Florida. So a lot of F's today. Fun for Foreclosure Friday, taking a deep dive into Florida. Welcome to Housing Bubble 2.0 News of the Week, or as I like to call it, another episode of As the Housing Market Turns. Randy here putting the realism back in real estate. We're looking at May 12th right now. So this basically is just a snapshot in time as to what the foreclosure volume's looking like, the pre-foreclosure volume's looking like, the state of Florida. We're going to work our way from the top left of the state over to the East Coast, down the East Coast, back across towards the Tampa area, down the West Coast, and go back across to the East Coast. That's how it's going to play. We're going to hit the major counties with major population centers. We're not going to hit some of the smaller ones or some of the less populated locations. Suffice to say, in Florida, there's foreclosures in every county. Just depends on the population base. Simple as that. So if we start off on the Panhandle, the east, the far west of the Panhandle. Oh, I always forget this too. Top 10 ways to earn income and build wealth in a housing correction or housing crash market. So there's 10 things there that I actually participate in. You can do it too, and you can do it with the stuff we're talking about right here. So the foreclosure market brings to fruition a lot of these opportunities. So first county we're looking at is Escambia County. That's farthest west county in the Florida Panhandle. What city is there? It's Pensacola. So we got about 323 pre-foreclosures in Pensacola. Not too bad. It's not a huge location. Some of the counties going across the top of the state aren't too populated. Not too huge. You're going to have maybe 100, 150 or so, maybe less than 100 in those counties across the top. We hit Duval County, and what's home to Duval County? That is Jacksonville, Florida. So Jacksonville, Florida has about 1,414 pre-foreclosures right now. It's also one of the areas that's growing fairly quickly with respect to foreclosure filings. Some of the counties that surround the southern part of Jacksonville are Clay County and we'll call it St. Johns County, which is more like, St. Augustine area. So both those counties have a few hundred pre-foreclosures as well. Going down a bit, we're into Volusia County. What's in Volusia County? Daytona Beach, about 399, almost 400 pre-foreclosures. Going a little bit farther down from Daytona, we've got Brevard County. What's Brevard County? It's Space Coast, all the Space Coast areas, Titusville, places right down there, Cape Canaveral. So we have over 603. So not too bad as far as volume concerned on that eastern part of the Orlando area. Now, this is very interesting because I always talk about this, and I wanted to point this out right now. So clearly I always mention that statistics, particularly with the foreclosure filings and what are active foreclosures, is a very tough number to wrap our hands around. And what I mean by that is it's really the data providers. It's how they produce and how they show their data. My point to everyone has always been what we see and what I talk about here that I can pick off from data services or data sources is never the full meal deal. It's never the entire picture. There's a lot more there than behind the scenes. So earlier today, I actually sent my rep at foreclosure.com. I asked them a question, and I said, I see X number, and I'll show this at the end of the video when we do the Miami count. I show X from a different source in Miami. You're showing Y, and basically here's the response to this. And this is probably the same for most data providers across the board here, depending on where you get your data from. We have specific state rules where we expire market active listings over an extended period of time due to no activity or updates. These listings will resurface on our website when there's activity at the source. So technically speaking, you could have a foreclosure filing that's been filed, 2, 3, 4 years ago, but for whatever reasons, it hasn't moved forward into the various, parts of the case to warrant another update. So if that doesn't happen, then after a little while, whatever their rules are, and again, I don't really know, I'm sure it's about a year or 2 years, if they don't see activity in that foreclosure case, they're dropping it from their listings, from their peg count. That's why whenever you see the peg count here, it's kind of like newer or active. There's a lot of legacy pre-foreclosures that aren't being picked up or dropped off that will resurface again. So as I always mention, the stuff we see is not the full meal deal. It's a lot more here, all right? So we've gone to the Space Coast, now coming west across the state. Orange County, well, who's in Orange County? Orange County is Orlando. 1,204 pre-foreclosures. Now, Orlando's a pretty big metro. You've got next county, Seminole County that's there, 391. On the west side, you have Osceola County, 515. That's kind of where the Disney area is. You're coming west along I-4, and you're in a little place called Kissimmee. That's the sort of location that people know. It's really the I-4 area, southern part of I-4, southern part of Orlando. close to the Disney area right there. So Kissimmee, etc. in Osceola County, 515, all right, which is kind of interesting here. Polk County, we're coming again across the state along I-4 corridor. Polk County, large county, but the number one city or location in Polk County is Lakeland. So if anybody follows real estate and you take a look at opportunities in Florida, you're always going to see Lakeland as being a big place for opportunity. And the reason being, well, it's right in the middle of Tampa and Orlando, and houses are a little cheaper on average in both those locations, but we're seeing a lot of growth because of the traffic, the industry, and the transport and traveling that goes along between the two big locations across the state. So Polk County, we got 976 pre-foreclosures there. It's actually kind of a famous sheriff that runs Polk County as well too. If you look him up on the internet, go Polk County Sheriff, you'll see some funny videos that he likes to talk about crime and everything. So anyway, so Polk County, there we go. All right, we're going to go up a little bit here. Marion County. What's in Marion County? That's the location called Ocala, Florida. For over 400 pre-foreclosures. Ocala is a growing area. Ocala is known for retirement areas and farming, particularly horse farms. All right, a lot of large equestrian estates are up there. A lot of money going to that area as those areas develop, and like there's big time stuff that goes up there. There's also some of these private communities that you can have you live and you have your own airplane right there and you can fly in and out. A couple Hollywood stars live there as well too. So that's what's going on in the Ocala area. So down into Hillsborough is where I'm at, and this is Tampa. So the metro of Tampa is in Hillsborough County. You can see there's 1,454 pre-foreclosures here in the Tampa area. You want to pop over to Pinellas County to the water. Pinellas County is home to St. Petersburg and home to Clearwater, 808. So the Tampa Metro has a few counties north. They're probably going to have about, Pasco's the next one up, but they're going to have 600-700 as well too. Then it gets a little sparse as you're going up sort of the central west coast of Florida. But Pinellas County, St. Petersburg area, Clearwater, 808. Going south across the Sunshine Skyway, we're into, actually, I jumped there. So, folks, if you like the information I provide and the stats that we always talk about, the opportunities with respect to real estate, if you could hit that subscribe button, I really appreciate that. And if you're currently a subscriber, if you could resubscribe, hit that bell notification, because as I always mention, I lose subscribers every day for some unknown reason. So thank you very much. All right, going down from Pinellas County, we're going across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge to Manatee County, which is home to places like Bradenton and places like Anna Maria Island, which is a nice beach community on the tip there. So we got about 366 pre-foreclosures. As we go below the Tampa Bay area, property values do tend to rise. It's more of an affluent area. We go next to the Sarasota County, only 313 pre-foreclosures. Sarasota is a very nice location. Lots of barrier islands, Siesta Key, St. Armand Circle, a lot of high-end homes there as well too, a lot of wealthy people. So nice location, but 303 pre-foreclosures. Let's go down a little bit from Sarasota. We're into Charlotte County, so Northport, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, 244. Not as populated as a location. Below Charlotte County is Lee County. What are you familiar with Lee County? That's the Fort Myers area. Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, Cape Coral, Sanibel, and Captiva Islands, Fort Myers Beach. So 595 pre-foreclosures. Expectations is that's going to jump. The reason being because of the situation that we had last year with respect to the hurricane that came across that area. Lots of damage was done, so there will be carnage or people that for whatever reason don't have the insurance coverage they thought they did or they needed, and they're going to be walking away from their mortgages. That started to actually happen. That's on my top 10 list of things to look at with respect to foreclosures or the housing crash or correction. So again, almost 600 pre-foreclosures for the Lee County area. South of Lee County, we're into what's called Collier County, which would be Naples area, Naples, Marcos Island. That area is a little bit more high-end, a lot more expensive homes, nicer estates, etc. in the Naples area, so only 165. So typically the more affluent or wealthy areas do have a lot less pre-foreclosures. So we're actually at sort of almost the bottom. When you hit into Naples, the south part of Naples, you then turn the corner to go east on what's called Alligator Alley. So I-75 down the west coast becomes Alligator Alley, going across to the east coast of Florida. So we're going to go up a little bit on the east coast side into Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County, we know West Palm, very affluent area as well too. 1,600 plus pre-foreclosures. I know that before COVID happened and the pandemic and everything was kind of shut down with the eviction moratorium and foreclosure moratorium, Palm Beach County was really increasing in their pre-foreclosure counts. So again, Palm Beach affluent area, but just people were overpaying and having some trouble. A little south of Palm Beach County, we have Broward County. So what's Broward County? Fort Lauderdale area, so 2,178 right now. Again, as I mentioned, we have to realize that these counts are always underestimated or underreported. That's Broward County, and the final county on our list today is Miami-Dade, so south of Broward, south of the Alligator Alley as it comes across the Everglades. We've got 2,751 pre-foreclosures here. Obviously, gethousingdata.com. If you want to check out any of this information, go to gethousingdata.com. That's my affiliate link with foreclosure.com, and you can see what's going on right here. Good information. It just gives you a litmus. It just gives you a snapshot of what's happening in an inexpensive way in your neck of the woods, your backyard, across any location you want to check out across the country. All right, so Miami-Dade, 2,751 pre-foreclosures. Now, this prompted my I guess the email into those guys because I was looking at some other stats. So you're always going to have different statistical analysis and different sources of stats when it comes to the foreclosure marketplace here. So basically, this is a little bit of a screenshot right off the Miami-Dade, government website that talks about here. It says statistics for mortgage foreclosures. They've only got basically 3 years worth here. So if you take a look at, if you tally 2021, 2022, and so far for 2023, the first 3 months that they've reported, we're about 6,000, just over 6,000 foreclosure filings for Miami-Dade County. Yet when I pull up Miami-Dade County, as you saw on the last slide here, I'm only showing 2,751. So going back to the point where we have state-specific rules, where we expire market active listings, etc. So I just wanted to show you that in this case, there's pretty much a greater than 50% difference, with respect to what the filings that have occurred versus what, in this case, foreclosure.com is showing us. And I can tell you that 3,000 foreclosures that were filed over this time frame have not either worked through the court case system or have all sold their properties or whatever. That doesn't seem to make sense. 3,000. Okay, that's where we're at now. As far as you can see that they don't have 2020 here, but we can see that was even less. But 2021 at the bottom was just over 2,000 filings for Miami-Dade. Now, historically, Miami-Dade's always been around 5,000 or 6,000. During the last housing crisis, Miami-Dade was 7, 8, 9. I think they even had an 11,000 a year filing back in the heyday. So their normal average is 5,000 to 6,000 per year as far as foreclosure filings are concerned. All right. So we looked at just over 2,000 for 2021. Okay, a little more increase for 2022 as things are sort of getting back to normal. And now we've got 2023. The first 3 months are 862 filings. If you extrapolate that and take that number and do a year out, like seasonally adjusted for the annual year, we're looking at about 3,400 and change filings. So you can see that it's slowly getting back up to normals here. Has the market changed? Sure, it has. Is there more options for homeowners to stop foreclosure? Sure is. Is there more solutions for homeowners? Sure there is. But it's not slowing things up. Like if we had 1,000, for Miami, for an annual count, I'd say okay, there's really a lot of we'll call it solutions being provided. But since we're increasing and we're seeing that these volumes here, it's this is normal stuff. Yeah, you're going to have people who are in forbearance. You're going to have people who go into loss mitigation programs with their lender. You're going to have people who sell their property or refi, etc. Tougher to refi when you're already behind your mortgage. But the point is, there's more solutions, but we're seeing the volume increase as well too. So simple as that. It all sort of plays out, sort of works into where we're headed with this right now. So again, this is Florida. There's a good number of pre-foreclosures here. And as I always say, I always believe that these numbers are 50% off what they really are. All right. So you've got a lot of stuff happening in this marketplace. So if we go to the next slide to sort of talk about this, well, what do we have going on? Well, all these homes, if you don't work through the process or solve your foreclosure, you're going to lose your home at the foreclosure auction, right? Either a third-party bidder is going to buy it, which is something you can do as an opportunity to buy and sell property, or it gets taken back by the lender if nobody buys at the auction. And the lender has what's called a bank-owned REO, which there's methodology to go try to get those from the lender. They have reserve auction sites, etc. My position, my big focus is doing short sales and short payoffs, where we can actually control the deal and help the homeowner and solve that foreclosure and get them out of a jam and actually do a settlement with the lender. That's our preference. You'll be opportunities to take the mortgages subject to a lot of FHA mortgages that were written in the past couple of years with lower or good interest rates. People are already defaulting on them, so those are great candidates for subject to. HOA, COA foreclosures, so homeowner association condo foreclosures, particularly here in Florida. Great opportunity because yes, if you don't pay your assessments or your annual or monthly condo or homeowner association dues, they will foreclose on you. Same thing with tax deed foreclosures. You don't pay your property tax, it becomes a tax lien. There's the process differs between states. In Florida, it's a tax lien, which becomes a certificate, becomes a tax lien. Then eventually it gets triggered for a tax deed foreclosure. That's opportunistic there. Clearly, probate and estate foreclosures, people pass away all the time. People are passing away, over the past couple of years at a higher rate, especially here in Florida. We have a lot of older population. Zombie houses, one of my favorite things. So yes, there's tons of zombie houses now. They are increasing everywhere in the country, particularly where we are. Underinsured, that's where I was talking about things like flooding, fires, hurricanes, etc., damages to homes that do not get covered or won't get covered or doesn't make sense. Contractor value to repair is too expensive for a homeowner. They're going to take a settlement and walk away. Opportunities, and once again, for people who don't know what this is, if homes go to auctions and the third-party bidder price point is greater than final judgment or what's owed in the property, that creates a surplus arrangement where the homeowner is entitled, homeowner and other creditors, if they're legitimate, other lien holders are entitled to that surplus or overage, and there's methodology and ways to actually obtain that for the homeowner, insurance, and the proceeds. That's what we got going on here, guys. So I wanted to do, as I said, a Foreclosure Friday, have a little fun. We're doing Florida, so again, the F alliteration today. That's what's happening right here. Please reach out to me. I'm trying to build my program here, build more opportunities in the state. A lot of things going on. We're doing every one of those things. So when I talk about the things that you can do here, it's not just me sitting here doing nothing and talking about it. It's actually participating in the real estate industry and actually doing those things as part of business. So there's the information to get a hold of me. Send me an email. I'll make sure I give you a shout. We'll talk and communicate, and we'll go from there. So once again, thank you for the views, likes, and comments. Please share the video with your family and friends. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I look forward to speaking with you next week.